Sometimes I just forget just how much you're paying attention. Because I'm not really talking to anybody. That's the thing. There's all these people behind the scenes collaborating with each other. And I'm just rambling on day after day about things that I think might happen, specific events and timeline. Nothing's ever happened. That's what they call a false prophet, when they predict something and it never comes to pass. Is it possible that there's people making fun of me? You know, like specific Cleckites? I think there is. I can feel it. I can feel that there's certain people that have like this access to, I don't know, like information, because they have eyes to see. They just don't have hearts to hear. Their heart doesn't hear just yet, but their eyes can see, their ears are hearing, and I'm also very aware of people's feelings, and I've been like this my entire life, which actually has always seemed like it was a problem, because that's what created social anxiety. But it's just because you can feel how other people feel, because you care enough to actually feel other people's feelings. And so when you feel their feelings, it can get uncomfortable. That's why if your conscience is seared with a hot iron, you won't have really any feelings towards other people, and you don't really care. So you can have negative opinions towards people. You can make fun of everybody. I've done it. I've mocked you guys, and you guys mock me. But you guys mock me with all kinds of information, all kinds of intelligence from the inside of just, you know, whether it's who you are working with, the certain agents that you've buddied up with that came in my direction. There's a lot of information from the inside, and sometimes I tend to forget to talk directly to you, Click, because I'm still, a part of my mind is always consciously aware that there's people that they don't know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to you, Click, or anybody being in charge, or they just don't believe that it's possible that you can actually know people that are doing it, because they're supposed to make themselves known on YouTube, period. So that's hard to believe. So there's a part of me that still needs to relate to that mindset, because I'm not saying that you need to believe me at all. I'm not saying that you don't have to believe me whatsoever. But see, to be close, like horseshoes, to the event and the date and time and everything, it's not good enough for the ones on the inside. That's way good enough for any other person besides anybody that's watching this video that works from the inside under Click who doesn't like me. This information that you got, it allows you to see how things are ran on the inside. But if I don't get the actual date dead on, you know, the day and the hour, well, then it just proves that no man knows the day or the hour. That's it. That's all that does. And there's just, everybody's going to be so happy that nobody could ever finally predict the end events of the world. Because then you get your way with certain, you know, you can continually mock as all those truth channels, the ones that actually did tell the truth, they all died down. So I'm not gonna try not to waste your time, Click, with acting like you're not watching and being any bit concerned about anybody else that you just don't get it. And none of it makes sense as to why, and even if so, who cares? There's times that just need to be direct, straight to you, Jonathan Click. I feel your frustration towards me because I make all of these. It's like I make the date, but then I switch it and I change it and I do it a different time because that time sounds better. And then I'll forget, wait, but what did I do the other time? Remember 5:55 at one point in the morning? I even went down to WilliamPenn. I made sure I got up early and I recorded it there at the alley. Nothing happened. And so as it goes to like the game of horseshoes, to my family or anybody else who's heard Second 9/11 Philadelphia, it doesn't even matter what day, it doesn't matter what date, doesn't matter the time, it doesn't matter the details. What matters is you said Second 9/11 in Philadelphia at the WilliamPenn building, and that's what happened. See, this isn't good enough to your employees. Am I on track so far, or am I off track? Because to some of your employees, they need, no, we know scripture. It needs to be exact. It needs to be exact, like the day and the hour of what though? The second 9/11. What the hell is that? That's just an event that's going to take place in Philadelphia. It's going to create like a major earthquake. Spiritually, of course. The same type of earthquake that Harold Camping created back in 2011. You remember that, Click? Remember how he created this earthquaking? There was some type of a awakening that happened back then. I don't know how many people, but that's when it began. And Harold Camping was like the grandfather of all of it. For the past 50 years, truth was spoken. Didn't know the events and things like that, and neither do I. But truth is always spoken out of his mouth, and you had people that just trolled the crap out of him, right? I'm sure you did. But you know that man was the truth. You know that. And then, so he's gone. It's like, oh man, all right, well. And then I come along out of nowhere, from nobody, from no explanation. Here I am on this YouTube platform, opening my mouth, showing all the stuff that you guys are up to and doing. And I already know, Click, that to you, horseshoes is good enough. It's plenty enough. It's like you can, it doesn't just shoot horseshoes all around the target. But there's a certain better victory to be able to help me understand these visions without actually giving me any information. You're not literally saying anything because you have people watching. You can't just straight up tell me, just go run up the frickin' Rocky Steps, Robin, and meet me there at like 5:55 a.m. so far on July 11th, 2020. Because you gotta get to the top level. When you look at Google Doodle 2020, that little Mickey Mouse is up there because it represents the male and the female. And there's like a little bird there, like a little robin bird hanging out probably, I don't know. And they're looking across the ledge, and there's a sun, and it's halfway in between. And when you look at it from a different, like, it looks like it's underwater, like a flood is coming. Mickey Mouse is up here with his little buddy, and that's where they watch it at. So the sun is coming from the east as you're sitting on, you know, steps of the art museum. The one point I thought that was the stadium, Hard Rock Stadium in Florida. But at 5:55 a.m., because it's on the $50 bill, I'll do one video after I talk about things that I seen in the video and things that I felt where I am a disappointment, because I keep switching things around. Even though you could take, and this is why it'll say there's two of me, you can take all of my other videos and take a clip from here where it'll say like WilliamPenn, and then over here it'll say second 9/11. And in this video here it'll probably say that exact day, but it won't be the right month. And then on this video here we'll say the month, but it was last year, so it's not the right year. And in this video here it gets the same day and the year, but different month. So you can actually piece it together in the end, but you need solid concrete evidence. So what did I get out of your video today? I feel like a disappointment. Because I know they're on you. When you say attack, it's hey Click, it's real funny. But if you're able to speak in their native language and I can understand it to the point where I get it, like, you didn't want, I was just trying to get away from 5:55 a.m. Like, I really didn't want to be up there that early in the morning. I hope you guys would have just done around noon or time's up, but then that time's up thing is a different aspect where it's going to be like, I don't know, like lights out for something else other than time's up second 9/11. From the 6th hour to the 9th hour, there was darkness. So if you go from the 6th hour, and you know, 7/7 that's on Wednesday. That's in the midst of the week. That's such a perfect time for like the rapture on 2020, the rumor, 6 p.m. Because on 7, just hear me out a minute. Hear me out. Remember, no man knows the day or the hour. I'm just trying to guess. Eventually I'm going to get it, but I want to get it all in one shot. I want to say that on 7/7/2020 would be the rapture rumor, and the reasoning I say this is not just because I'm coming up with a theory. 144,000 people are going to die of the coronavirus according to CDC, which recommends wearing your face mask, but now they're going to do mandates. But ultimately it's going to be a recommendation that you either choose to do it or not. But they recommend that you wear your mask at all times now, because 144,000 people are going to die. And they projected that on July 11th, that 145,000 people are going to die, which means 144,000 people will die. 44,000 will die a few days before that. So if it was on 7/7 at evening, but evening starts at 6, goes to the, it's like, our evening, doesn't it start at like 6:01 and then it's the very first hour of the evening from 6 to 7. Because Harold Camping thought that the rapture was going to happen literally on May 21st 2011 at 6 p.m. Save the date. So at this time, I'm still going to go with that date as being the rapture, disappearance, alien invasion type thing, because Jonathan Kleck, you're going to have 144,000 subscribers by then because you got 143. You're going to go skydiving. You're going to go diving into the desert. But you're also diving where the desert is. There's no real word of God, like the truth. You're actually going to go like sky surfing into that realm as well. It's not so much that you're going to be in front of a whole lot of people. It's more like desert, wilderness, 40-day period of kind of, saying what you believe. So on 7/7, going into the 8th day is also a good script for the 7th and of the 8th beast on 7/7. But 3 days before that is the 4th of July, and something on Pet Goat 2 shows the woman with the flag, raising the flag. But it's like it's too late, and then here comes the fireworks. And then, like lights out maybe for the truth on YouTube. Is that when it starts to 7/7? And then once the rapture happens, all hell breaks loose. But does it break loose immediately, or does it break loose 3 days later? You got to give time for Trump to rise up? 3.5 days later? Is he according to people's belief, is he one of the two witnesses that dies for 3.5 days? Or is he Christ that dies for 3 days? Or does he rise up after 3 days, like 2 days? Didn't Christ die on Friday? And wasn't he raised on the... See, I gotta Google these things. I disqualify anyway, so... of the role. So wasn't he raised on Saturday, the Sabbath, but is the Sabbath Saturday or Sunday? So that's the difference between, the 2 and the 3 days. So it can be the Saturday or Sunday. I get it now. Get it. The point being is this. I feel like I'm letting Kleck down to a degree, because I know, he knows, we know, the ones that have eyes to see know. It's not even that you're watching my channel like, oh my God, they're watching my channel. It's more like, wow, you guys really pay attention to what I'm saying that much? Like, okay, all right, well, I didn't, sometimes, I'm just kind of talking to myself. I forget how much I'm being listened to by a bunch of people that, if you just told me a little bit more truth, I wouldn't be fumbling around with my words. I wouldn't be guessing certain other different things because I would already know. But I don't know. So I know what Jonathan Kleck is trying to do. He's trying to show me through the language so I can pick up on it, which proves that he's able to talk this in tongues language to be able to communicate it with me from the other side. And then put it together and show you that this is what you're saying on this specific day and timeline and everything like that. But that only works for the Kleckites and the other, the rest of the world. I can get close like horseshoes to my family, friends, people, Facebook, people live in Philly. I can get close because nobody said Second 9/11. I said it for about a year now, at least a year. And that does go a long way by just hearing that it happened, because then what happens after that is, well, all I want to do is get people's attention and point them to the Father, because apparently that's my job, and I'm realizing it more and more now. So point in that direction, but any little thing I can get, if I can get Kleck's death on 7/7 as well, 2020, falling from an airplane, parachute malfunction, and then that script starts, and then that's like 3 days later, or maybe that starts on the 4th of July. You jumped on the 6th of July last year. Maybe you're waiting 365 days. You're going to jump again on this 6th of July, 2020, and then parachute malfunction, and then you die for 3 days, and that thing happens. And Derek, I think you do the same thing, right? Something happens like that. And then if I can get like just something, I can show that to people. And then the next question is, well, how did you know that? And then I'll be glad to show them thousands of videos. If they want to sit there and watch it and listen, I'll be glad to tell you how I came up with it. But I'm going to have to piece a lot of stuff together. So in the meantime, I'm going to try to make it where it's solid for you, Jonathan. And I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I do realize that if I make these videos, you're going to be listening to them, and you can need me to like hurry up and get to the point, because time's ticking away, and people are mocking me, and they think they're funny. But I got something for them, because I'll just play the first couple minutes of you, Click, and your frustration.
You'll have no idea what I've been through trying to get this stuff going. Alright guys, God bless you. Listen, this is a video. It's going to be a test video, but I'm going to give you information. I told you guys the Lord has called me to do something that is way beyond the pale that most people would ever even consider doing. He's asking me to step off a cliff blindfolded, basically. Which he's confirmed and over-confirmed and reconfirmed. So, I'm going to do it. Anyway, I'll get to that. That's going to have to be...
Because stepping off the cliff blindfold means you're taking a real big leap of faith with no proof. Because a wicked and adulterous generation, they seeketh after a sign. Let's give them a sign. Let's do this. If the events they're not even right, let me just stick to one solid thing with, the 555 WilliamPenn building getting hit, watching it down at the Art Museum on 7/11, because Trump said he'll be there. And then at 8:48 a.m. is the bombing at the bank. But we're gonna go with WilliamPenn first, and then somewhere in between. I look, if I don't know, I just don't know. I thought the Met building was in the play somewhere, but then the Lincoln Financial Field. But then now, are these missiles and the images coming from the Lincoln Financial Field? And that's where the show is over there. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of stuck between the Met building and the Lincoln Financial Field, in between that time. But I don't know what would happen over at the Met building, besides a star that falls from heaven, and that's blamed for hitting the chunk out of 17th and JFK too. But it's really a bomb set up. But they're going to show you an image of a star, like a burning, and the same thing with the WilliamPenn building. It's going to be like a star falling from heaven type thing. That's how I see it. If it ain't happening that way, it don't happen. But I'm telling you different rumors that'll be said about it. But the WilliamPenn building definitely gets hit from the west, because on the back of I'll go over the dollar bills and the pictures. Man, one thing, when you $20 bill, you turn it upside down, backwards, and inside out, with the face mask guy. The other one's upside down, the other one's right side up. But just look through the dollar bill and then turn that part upside down as you turn it inside out. Then you'll see, if you guys would just show it straight and clear, it'd make it easier. But I got to work through this, that, any other thing just to get to somewhat of the truth. But man, it shows like a indent from the west side of the WilliamPenn building. The sun is rising from the east, so it's 5:55 in the morning. I got to go with that. I didn't want to go with that early in the morning, because it's just too early to get up. That means I got to leave at like 5 or something. whatever. I'll get to work early. Nothing happens. I just watch the sun rise up, and then go to work. Maybe jog around, whatever. I'll make it work for me. So a wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign. Fine. If you weren't going to do it, then do it like that. And I'll give one more video with an absolute detailed breakdown of time, date, and event and where. And then that way you can just take my script and just frickin' play it. Who cares? Some people don't even know that you're in charge of the things that are happening anyway. They don't even know that you're setting up the second 9/11 and you're gonna make it work. Or I just get so damn lucky and I figure out the day and the hour of the second 9/11, but then that second 9/11 would be referred to as a second woe, according to the script being played out too. Because here's what happens imagine this. Let's just say I got it right. Let's just say, that would ever happen. You're right. And it was the second 9/11. It did happen in Philadelphia. Wow, Trump did say that he was going to be there on 7/11, when the towers fell. And wouldn't that suck if the actual One World Trade Center fell and it wasn't Philadelphia? I'm just saying. Because it's going to happen anyway. But I don't think there's certain people that don't know you, Click. They don't know that you're actually responsible for all these things. And there's others that are making fun of me. They're making fun of me. I'm going to show you where they're making fun of me at, Click. Alright? I'm going to show you. But in the meantime,
it's going to have to be a 2 to 3 hour video. There's
so from the 6th hour to the 9th hour, okay, we're going to go with on 7/11/2020. Well, let's do 7/7 first, 2020, and then I'll make up my mind between 7/11/2020. But either way, because the reason I say it is because the rapture has to happen. Once the rapture happens, and it says the media says that millions of people disappeared and 144,000 people died of coronavirus. Trump gets 144,000 subscribers. It was projected that it would have 145,000 deaths by July 11th. So we're going to go with the beforehand. But doesn't total destruction happen as soon as the rapture happens immediately? Or does it progress? Or does something happen like right away and then 3 days later it gives time for Trump to be seen again and then the 9/11 happens? See, I like that script better. I just do. It gives you 3 days to spread rumors about what happened to Trump. Where'd everybody go? On 7/7, 7.7 billion people, 7 trumpet, 7th angels begins to sound, 7 p.m. because from 6 to 7 is evening, the beginning, the first hour. I like that script better. That, let's just say this, if I was you, if I was in your shoes, I would just go at 7/7 and do the 7 o'clock, the rapture between 6 and 7 and people disappear. Then it gives 3, because it can happen at 6. Darkness can come over something between 6 and 9 on 7/7 p.m. Then because it's like 3 days or 3.5 days. And then on 7/11, it starts, from the 6th to the 9th hour of darkness at 5:55 because the sun rises. I would do that. If you gave your power unto me. And I would take 5:55, and it looks like it has to be. It gotta be the WilliamPenn building. It has to be the WilliamPenn building because the earlier, the better to get. There's not that many people there at 5:55. That's a plus in itself. So I like that part because you're going to do it anyway. I'm just telling you what, if I were you, what I would do. Remember, nobody's dying in this. These are professional stuntmen acting, bomb setup, Unabombers, professional first 9/11. Wouldn't that be miraculous if all that was just smoke and mirrors and nothing even actually broke? And nothing actually was on the ground, and they just like threw shit like, that would be a miracle sign and a wonder if that happened. So let's say they can do that again. This time it's in Philadelphia, and it hits at 5:55, the WilliamPenn building, on 7/11, 2020. And at 8:48 a.m., it's 17th and JFK, because that third floor, because all they keep talking about is 8 cops. They're not allowed on the 5th floor, so they got to keep them on the 3rd floor, because the 3rd floor is where the bombing's going to happen. And I hope you guys aren't in that building for whatever freaking reason, going to the bank. And that's the darkness from the 6th hour to the 9th hour in Philadelphia, because to the church, to the angel of the church of Philadelphia, you have a little strength. You can have a little bit of strength left. And there's the darkness. And then time's up at noon, because it's like Wi-Fi, phones, communication, it's out. 7-Eleven's over. It's over just like that. 4 of them, but the WhiteHouse gets hit somewhere in between. 8:48 a.m. is the last one. Somewhere in between is I still got to make my decision on the Met or the Lincoln Financial Field. Somewhere between 5:55 and 8:48 a.m. on 7/11, and the WhiteHouse getting hit. You know I'm sticking with 9:33 with the WhiteHouse getting hit. So you can clock that one in. You can bank on that one. And well, let me show you. I forgot the thing that they were. I don't know. I'm gonna have enough time. Been blabbing on too freaking much. See, that's the problem. I'm just wasting people's time. I'll get it on the next one. Look, if that's all you got, all right, I got something for you, because I do know, and I can understand the mentality, at least of the silent people that I can't see, but I can feel that I can feel what you guys want to do, and what you wish would happen, and what you can't wait for it to happen. Remember, 3 days later, and after 3 days and a half,